For some litigants, justice is not about money. It's about principles. It's about undoing the wrongs and preventing the wrongs from continuing. And so we're going to talk about a mechanism through which litigants can achieve this goal. Injunctions. And there are three functions of the injunction that I'd like to review today. So let's get started.
One, a court-ordered injunction can prohibit a person from performing a specific act. Two, an injunction can require a person to perform a specific act. Three, an injunction can waive the 11th immunity against a state official who is violating federal law. And to help me illustrate the injunction, we're going to look at a 1969 case, an old case, but a good case to help us illustrate this. Roderick Jenkins, appellant, versus John Julian McKeithen et al., appellees. And the issue in this case is, did the investigative procedures and mechanisms of the commission violate appellant's due process and equal protection clauses of the 14th Amendment? So let's look at the facts. In 1967, the Louisiana Commissioners presented Act Number 2. The statute created the Labor Management Commission of Inquiry. Its specific purpose was investigating and finding facts relating to violations or possible violations of criminal laws of the state of Louisiana or of the United States concerning labor management. The appellant is a member of a labor union. He sued the governor of Louisiana and 6 members of the commission. He challenged the constitutionality of Act Number 2. He sought injunctive relief to enjoin civil and criminal actions pending or to be instituted against him through the act. The appellees filed a motion to dismiss. The district court granted the motion. The appellate then appealed to the state Supreme Court, who also affirmed the district court. Appellate then appealed to the United States Supreme Court. In his complaint, appellant alleged that the appellees and their agents acting under color of law and in conspiracy violated his due process and equal protection clauses of the 14th Amendment in 5 ways. 1, that the appellees procured false statements of criminal activities and used the statements to initiate baseless criminal proceedings against him. 2, that the appellees intimidated and coerced public officials into filing and prosecuting false criminal charges against him. 3, that the appellees knowingly, willfully, and purposefully intimidated state court judges having under consideration legal controversies involving appellant. Asserting legal controversies and that they are ongoing is critical to the court granting an injunction. And you'll see what I mean as we move on. 4. That the acts of appellees deprived him and all others similarly situated of rights, privileges, and immunities secured to them by the Constitution and the laws of the United States. 4. The acts of appellees deprived him and all others similarly situated of rights, privileges, and immunities secured to them by the Constitution and laws of the United States. So you see how the injunction is not just for the person who's bringing the claim, but it's for everyone else who's out there who could be affected by the conduct of these officials. So, what the appellant is doing here is establishing the second and third elements the appellant needs to establish in order for the court to grant an injunction. Let me review them. Element 2, the threat must outweigh harm to the opposing party. And an injunction would not be adverse to the public's interests. You see where we're going with this? Put another way, how could it be against the public interest when the public is the victim or potentially the victim of the unlawful acts of the commission? And 5, appellees intended to continue to deprive him and others, there we go again, the public, of their rights, and that there was no plain, adequate, or efficient remedy at law. So, what do we mean by adequate remedy at law? Money damages are not sufficient to remedy the harm to the appellant and the public. You see how the appellant established the prima facie elements. The fourth element is there must be a likelihood of success, which takes us to the court's holding. The Supreme Court held that appellant's complaint contains sufficient allegations of direct and substantial injury to his own legally protected interests to accord him standing to challenge the constitutionality of Act Number 2. By the way, they did challenge standing. But as we see, the court ruled that the appellant had standing to bring the action. Further, the court held appellant alleged a cause of action which may make a relief for declaratory or injunctive relief appropriate. Now, for the purpose of this video, I wanted to address injunction, but I will be dealing with declaratory judgment in another video. As a result, the court reversed and remanded the case back to the district court for further proceeding to consider the merits of the appellant's claims. And the third function I want to address is the 11th Amendment. The 11th Amendment immunity is an exception as it relates to injunctions. Suing state officials, the 11th Amendment does not stop a federal court from issuing an injunction against a state official who is violating federal law. Although the state official may be abiding by state law, he is not permitted to violate federal law, and a federal court can order him to stop the action with an injunction. But remember, a state official can be sued in his individual capacity for money damages. In contrast, one is not seeking money damages in an injunction action. Also, an injunction or preliminary injunction can become permanent. I trust this video has been helpful to you. I am Advocate Lucinda, and we will see you next time. Take care.